Legend, the former Twitch streaming legend, how did he become one of the biggest personalities in gaming? We're going to analyze his streaming strategy, his social media strategy, and his YouTube strategy to give you insights on how the biggest and the best are doing it. What are their best practices? What are their secrets? We're going to break it all down today in this episode of the Digital Drop Podcast. Let's go. This podcast is sponsored by Restream. Ad is playing. Why live stream to one platform when you can simultaneously live stream to every platform to discover new audiences faster using Restream.io? The Doc, man. Who doesn't know about the Doc these days? He's so famous, he's a household name. But he didn't just get here overnight. He has a unique trajectory that he followed, right, boys? Where when he started streaming, he wasn't small for very long. This character is infectious, it's unique, it's one of a kind. Let's take a look at the numbers, Perrin, on where he came from, and then we can finally get to where he's at today to let everybody know what that strategy is from one of the biggest personalities in the game. Perrin, break it down for us, amigo.
Yeah, so this is interesting because you expect to see like him having to grind for like a little bit for there to be no there's none of the typical YouTuber stuff that we see. He didn't have to grind for a year with 2 concurrents or anything like that. If we highlight and look in March of 2016, that's as far back as we have data that goes. It looks like that's when he started. He had 59 average viewers. The next month, 168 average viewers. The next month, 389 average viewers. The next month, 637 by June. And by, I think, October, he has, between September and October, he went from 813 average viewers to 3,733 viewers. Now this is all on Twitch. He had to start on Twitch. You know, he started streaming there and he just blew up within like the first couple of months, and the viewership just kept exponentially increasing, even more than doubling month after month, to the point where if he had to start here in March 2016, if we go by 2017, he's almost at 10,000 average viewers already. So This is an atypical story where he starts streaming and his formula worked so well that the people that came, like they stuck, and it just grew over top, more than doubled over top, month by month by month, where the point where he's, a year into streaming, he's already like 50,000 average viewers. And so the story was an immense catapulting start from the get-go. It's not this like 5-year grind and then suddenly he finds this place and makes it. Doc had a formula that worked from the get-go, worked from the very, very beginning. And he was magnetic. He created a character that people were interested in watching. And that's the story of his entire streaming career. And he hasn't stopped that strategy. He has the same strategy today, and it still works. It still works today. Are there other things here, guys, that this surprised you here? I mean, I guess this wasn't surprising to me. I assumed the Doc blew up from the get-go. Like the way he does, the way he's unique, the way his character is unique, the way he's over the top. I assumed that there was no period where he like did that and was unsuccessful or only had like 10 concurrents for a year or something like that.
Yeah, for me, this is a case of word of mouth really blowing Doc up. And of course, he got featured on Twitch and he rode PUBG when PUBG's popularity started spiking. But it was the character of the Doc that really gravitated to people, and the whole Slick Daddy Club. And at the time, he was a much more adult brand that nobody had ever really seen before. With him combing his mustache, if you want to pull up some of his gameplay here, we'll pull this up and remind everybody what the character is like. But at the time, he was like kind of a scummy guy, was his character in the very beginning. He was combing his mustache. He was making lots of sex jokes. He was a lot less family friendly at the time, and people freaking loved it. They absolutely loved it when he was like that in the beginning. Then he ended up disclosing his affair publicly, and then he cleaned up his brand to the Champions Club rather than the Slick Daddy Club, which made him even more brand friendly, which eventually led to him getting that Twitch deal that fell through. And so this sort of super hyper violence character with hyper sexualness and then really good gameplay on top of that with non-stop entertainment and high production value, everybody told their friend about the Doc. Twitch didn't have an algorithm. And it doesn't currently have an algorithm, right? So how do you grow from nothing to 50,000 concurrents in 1 year? It's all word of mouth. And obviously some features on Twitch, but it's almost all word of mouth in the beginning. So this makes Doc way different than the average streamer and way different than our people that are watching the show right now. Did your character blow up in 1 year just by word of mouth? This is the difference between having fire, one of a kind, 1 in a million content and not. And so a lot of you guys are trying to grind it through the algorithm, through search, through best practices, learning every day. And Doc just struck gold right out the gate, having just rolled this incredible character out, and everybody just fell in love, and they promoted him for him, if you will. Do you feel like that's a fair assessment?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Ross.
No, I was just going to say the numbers alone say that what you just said is a 100% fair assessment. I mean, that's not even much of a guessing game. That was spot on. That's exactly what he did.
So the difference here is he created a character that resonated instantly with everybody. Like, he started in 2016. He actually has not been streaming that long. You know, when we some of our episodes, we say it can take about 5 years of grinding to kind of get to a point where, like, you're getting noticed and you're starting to get some traction and you're starting to see growth, and you might be able to make enough of a living off of it. This is not how Doc went into this. He went into this with a mindset of creating something totally, like, unique, a character that's totally over the top, somebody that we can relate to, but also it's incredibly funny, incredibly engaging. But not only that, he backed it up with great gameplay. This would not have worked if you weren't good at the game, like, or any of the games he played, or if he weren't good at FPS games, which is kind of like his shtick. So because he brought this whole branded formula, it's very rare that I think we see creators, and well, we see this from YouTubers, but not so much streamers, is they get the branding right the first time. It's really rare that we see that happen. It's really rare that we see them understand branding through and through from the get-go like Doc has. I mean, the colors, the red colors, through and through on his branding. Red and black are his brand colors, and you know this because they've always been his brand colors. They've always on his character. They're always on him. His glasses are red, right? He always has the black hair too. His colors are branded. His brand is cohesive. It means something. When you think Dr. Disrespect, it gives you FPS shooter, over the top kind of personality, intense, really good at shooting, and funny, like charismatic. You get all of these brand values that you think of whenever you're thinking of his brand. It's like his brand was done by a professional marketer, and he started with that. He didn't grow into that. He didn't start just by being just him, getting on camera, streaming to the masses with nobody watching. He started with a marketable brand from the get-go, and that's one of the hugest differences. Most creators, especially most streamers, don't do that from the beginning.
It's all about that unique value. That's the number one thing to take away here. We talk about brand, and I think people can get kind of lost in, like, I need to create an amazing brand and I need to spend $2,000 on my brand. What he did here is he created something unique that nobody had ever seen before, and that's what helped him bust through. So now you've seen a ton of streamers create a character like Dr. Disrespect did in 2016 and try to recreate this success. And we've seen some of that work on Facebook Gaming. For example, you've got Kingslayer, a guy that dresses up like a medieval king, and that's his shtick. You also see guys like Ginge Dad, a guy that wears suspenders and has this like super unique orange branded character. And you see a lot of people trying to bust through with these really unique characters now, inspired by Doc. I would like to point out, I did a character like this in 2010, and it did not work out like Doc. I had this whole boom sucker AWOL character with sunglasses on and a fedora and all this crap, and it did not resonate anything like Dr. Disrespect's character did. So the point of me sharing that isn't to say I'm the originator of the idea of creating a streaming character. No, the idea is just because you create a character doesn't mean you're going to automatically be successful. And so you may, if you want to go this extreme, unique streaming angle to grow your stream, you're probably going to fail multiple times before you find that character that really works. It's the same thing in cases like the WWE, for example, or any other kind of like professional entertainment brand. You're going to struggle to find your character that really breaks through a lot of the time for these wrestlers. They rebrand them over and over and over again to finally find the version of them that works. And so that may be the case for you. So let's go ahead and take a look now at his social media strategy, because Dr. Disrespect's Twitter account is an incredibly powerful avenue for him to promote, and he's really using video very, very effectively. And luckily, we have one of the biggest gaming operators on Twitter here on the podcast to analyze his Twitter strategy. Ross, what is Dr. Disrespect doing well, and what is he doing not so well, and what can audiences take away from his Twitter strategy?
Well, first things first, we're going to need to see video of you doing the boom shakalaka and the fedora. So I expect that to be on your Twitter account by the end of the day. That's not fair. You can't just mention that and just slide over. We need to see that. But talking about Dr. Disrespect, we're just going to focus on Twitter today. He has Instagram. He has Facebook. Those are really just kind of for brand management for him. And I'll tell you why here in a second. But looking at his Twitter account here, this is really the only one that he's actually very active on. This is the only one that he actually posts his notifications on when he's going live. And it's the same style of copy every single time when he goes live. All the other content on there around his gaming personality it's video content. There's usually one video every 1 or 2 days, sometimes every 3 days, a clip from his live streams that obviously he shares, and it just massively blows up. Now, the thing with Dr. Disrespect that you need to remember, because this is kind of an interesting case study, like AWOL and Perrin have been saying this entire episode, he blew up really quick. When you do that, you don't necessarily even need too much of a social media strategy. So it's almost a little difficult to judge him here based on where he's going. So looking at what his strategy is right now, like I said, live notification on Twitter whenever he goes live, usually a clip from the stream, usually 1 or 2 every day. He obviously uses Twitter to promote his store, and that's also what he uses Facebook and Instagram for. But what he's doing on Twitter that he's not doing on the other platforms is he's getting personal. If you go down and you look through his timeline, he's actually making himself more relatable. He's talking about the NBA Finals. He's talking about other things that he's doing, UFC. He's talking about things that are completely unrelated to gaming, to bring his audience in and make his audience relate to him on even more personal level, more so than what you can do on Facebook and Instagram. Now, why is he doing this on just Twitter and not Facebook and Instagram? Because of the algorithm. On Facebook, you're going to be lucky to have, well, in Dr. Disrespect's case, you may be able to per post get 10% of your audience to actually see you. Instagram, their organic engagement and impressions, it's dwindling as well. Twitter is the one place where no matter what you put up, you can almost expect the same amount of people, the same audience to see it every single time. It's also one of the platforms that people actually go and click on the profile more so than Facebook and Instagram. So the one thing that he could probably actually do better, and again, I stress this because this is a situation where he's Dr. Disrespect. He can pretty much do whatever he wants. But I would say even more clips. I would say even more content from his gaming. That would be my only suggestion. Looking what he's doing, he's super engaging with his audience. He always has competitions and contests going on social media. If you want to look at someone that's doing something right, go check him out. However, that strategy that he is doing right now, because he's already a huge profile figure, probably shouldn't be adapted to what you're doing. You don't need to be self-promoting, doing contests and all that. What you need to be doing, what you need to take away from Dr. Disrespect's channel is you need to be getting as much content out there as possible. Now, I'm sure he's got a team that's helping him do this. That's pretty self-explanatory at this point. We know he's got a team. So he's not doing this on his own. This is where it's going to be difficult for you to come in. You're going to have to do this on your own. You're going to have to schedule out the post. You're going to have to create the content to put out there. It's going to be a whole nother part-time job on top of your streaming. But as you can see here, just by his Twitter account and just by his effectiveness of taking people off platform to his live streams, his strategy that he is doing right now is currently working, and it has been working for the past 4 years.
Yes, Dr. Disrespect does have a team of editors. He's got managers. He's got agency. I've been on a call with his team before when we were soliciting them to do something with us at Broadband TV. And he's got somebody who runs his live content in his studio with him. He's got a team of editors. He's got graphic designers. He's got the whole nine to run this sort of social strategy. But the thing that's working best for him on Twitter, in my opinion, that our audiences can take away today is just taking highlights from your live stream and just posting them to your feed, little clips of your absolute best moments, and then posting them to Twitter directly through Twitter Media Studio. And he doesn't go live with just a text tweet, which is really, really important. That's something that a lot of people do. They like go live and then they just link their Twitch, or they link their YouTube. We're like, we're live now, boys, let's go. He has at least a GIF there. He has at least a video there, etc. to promote when he's live. See these animated GIFs, these branded GIFs he has right here? Him being live with that basketball or whatever, that's way more engaging than him just posting a link. And that's why these tweets get as much engagement as they do. So if you are going to promote your live stream ever, you need to use rich media, whether that is an original GIF from you or a quick clip of one amazing thing you've done during your live streams in the past to give people, and you've said this before, Ross, to give people a sneak preview of what they're in for once they actually click. That is just a strategy that, in your experience, I know gave you exponentially more results whenever you tested that in the past.
Yeah, exactly. And just to prove to you, keep it on there for 1 second, Perrin, look at the engagement on this tweet where he's trying to take people off platform compared to the other stuff. It's even a struggle for him to be able to do it. I mean, the amount of engagements that he gets on other tweets, on clips and stuff that he uploads is 10 times that. And it also has even a little bit more promotional power. So it's going to be difficult to take people off platform. You got to give them a reason on platform to go off platform. And that's why it's so important to post continuous clips of what you're doing and make yourself as engaging as possible on Twitter.
That makes sense. And there's a question from the audience right now of, should you post your clips across all platforms when you do a clip? Look, if you're limited on time and you only have so much time to do a highlight from your stream, which is difficult on top of a full-time job and school and whatever, and you're worried about, should I duplicate the clip I'm posting across Instagram plus Twitter plus maybe Facebook gaming clips, etc., or Twitch clips? The answer is yes. Just go ahead and duplicate it across everything if you don't have the time to make completely original clips or hire an editor yourself. Getting maximum exposure across all platforms when you're growing is critically important when you aren't necessarily a 1 in a million superstar like Dr. Disrespect. And that's also a reason why we recommend Restream.io. If you want to post that link below, Ross, Restream allows you to live stream like we are right now. We're on Twitch, Periscope, Facebook Gaming, YouTube, etc., Trovo, DLive, all at the same time with the exact same piece of content right now. And we're fine with that, because we want to reach as many of you as possible, especially when we're in our growth phase. We're not a 1 in a million podcast that just blows up to become one of the top 100 podcasts in the world. And we know we're going to have to grind. And so the best way to do the grinding strategy and the smart strategy, as somebody who maybe isn't, one of the greatest personalities in our space of all time, we know that we can put our numbers in our favor using Restream. And if you use code DROP1 right now, that's DROP1 with no space, you can get 30% off Restream. Now, Doc made the transition to YouTube recently when his Twitch was banned. We're not going to go over that whole story, but his YouTube channel is really doing well right now. And he got massive traction when he came back to YouTube. And I want to break down his YouTube strategy right now, what I think the strengths are and weaknesses are of his current strategy, and point out some of the things he's doing incredibly well and that are unique about him. And so obviously he's at 3 million subscribers right now. That's cool. I think he's getting like 11 million views a month, something like that. But the majority of his revenue comes from sponsorships, of course, and things like the Champions Club. So we don't have to worry too much about AdSense. But if you could scroll up and just click his video tab. So anytime anybody wants to analyze someone else's channel, and you can zoom in a bunch so we can see his thumbnails and titles, all you guys need to do, the thing you need to focus on is just look at their videos tab and see what content they're releasing. Not what they curate to their channel and not what they're trying to show you, and just literally look at what they're doing here and see what the best practices are. So one best practice that Doc is, so he's doing a crazy strategy that almost never works anywhere else, which is doing a hybrid of live content plus video content, montage content, all on one channel at the same time. Yeah, so like this thumbnail that he pointed to first here. So the first video you see on the left there is Doc in the arena, and that's the montage of the stream that he did 2 streams before that. And so that the montage videos are somewhere around 10-ish minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, whereas the streams are anywhere between 3 hours up to 7 hours of him live streaming these games, and he publics the live streams when they're done. So the question you should be asking yourself is, should you be live streaming and releasing edited videos on your channel all at the same time? And the answer I would give all of you guys is no, you probably shouldn't. And the reason why it works for Dr. Disrespect is because his live streams are so wildly entertaining on their own that they are shareable and that the algorithm will pick those up just as its own replay. As we saw from a moment ago when Perrin pulled up his Twitch growth statistics, his streams on their own are viral. Like, they're so good, they're viral. Just the actual live stream, not videos, not a highlight, not a montage of it. Like we pointed out earlier, in 2016, he went from nobody to 50,000 concurrent viewers in 1 year, essentially out of freaking nowhere, with no algorithm to push him. So his streaming content is viral. Your streaming content, if you're listening to this right now, probably isn't viral, okay? And so you won't be able to do this strategy anywhere near as effectively as Dr. Disrespect on his YouTube channel. So what I recommend to creators is creating a separate YouTube channel that's just for your live streams, and then creating your primary YouTube channel, which is just for your edited videos. Doc can do this for now, but I think that his YouTube channel is going to become very crowded, and he's going to run into issues in the future when the algorithm changes. His channel is going to tank, and he is entirely banking on this YouTube channel for his entire business. If this YouTube channel stops growing and he stops getting as many impressions as he's getting right now on these videos, getting 800,000, 900,000 views per stream, and he starts going down to 200,000, 100,000 in the future, his business is devastated. And so this is something for Dr. Disrespect to keep in mind, his team to keep in mind, and for all of you guys that are watching to keep in mind. Do not mix live streams and edited videos on the same channel for an extended period of time. Make a separate live channel and then make an edited videos channel at the very least. Then if you want to get to end game on YouTube, you have live channel, you have edited videos channel, and then you just make a clips channel as your third channel. And then you could do even a fourth channel with an entirely different type of content if you want for your brand to really expand out and to really diversify and to build an unlimited universe of content related to your brand. Dr. Disrespect needs to diversify as soon as possible for that reason. Now, if we take a look at some of the things that he's doing well on his channel, he has an original thumbnail created by some incredible designer. Let me go ahead and go full screen with this so you guys can see it. Some incredible designer that puts his face on top of iconic characters of the past for his live streams. So when we tell you guys need to have original images for your live streams, custom thumbnails every single time, look at these incredible custom thumbnails that he's created. Now, obviously, you aren't going to be able to make ones on this level because my guess is that he hires a full-time designer that only does this, or he contracts somebody for hundreds of dollars per thumbnail to make these incredible thumbnails. But the point is, it's reinforcing his brand every time he goes live, and you see a new Dr. Disrespect branded work of art every time he's about to go live. So what are you doing with your original thumbnail game? This is the end game that you should be headed toward right now. Look at him. He's in that Cyberpunk 2077 outfit in this thumbnail. He's whatever it may be. He's Rambo. He's whatever you want it to be. So every time he pops up in your live stream feed, every time you get a notification of Doc being live, it's a different thumbnail that's super interesting and that you want to click if you want more of the Doc. What are you guys doing in the audience to give people something unique and interesting to click every time you go live? Are you doing no thumbnail? Shame on you. Are you repeating this exact same thumbnail format over and over again and just changing the number? Shame on you. Put in a little bit more effort into your thumbnail. If you're streaming for 5 to 6, 7 hours, but you're only putting in 10 minutes of effort into your thumbnail, you need to take an hour out of your streaming time and put it into your thumbnail and your title so that you can maximize your results. And Dr. Disrespect's team allows him to do that without him having to spend his time, and you need to keep that in mind for yours. And another little interesting thing here, I don't know if it's actually helping or not, but he does have a little live icon in the bottom left-hand corner of his.
I like that a lot.
I like that too. In the bottom left-hand corner of his thumbnail, and he's got the little red dot at the beginning of his stream to let everybody know this piece of content is live. It's hot. The red dot is there. This is you're going to get to watch me in the moment. And even if you watch the replay later, it makes it very clear that this was live. And so that's a best practice that I think we could probably take away and use. Some of you guys out there could use for your live thumbnails and your live streams. Try it out on your own. This differentiates this from any other sort of VOD content. And honestly, just by having that live in the bottom left-hand corner of your thumbnail and the live, the red dot at the beginning of your title, it could add extra value to audiences. So let's go ahead and wrap this up in a bow here. Why is Dr. Disrespect a streaming superstar? Perrin, hit him with the 30-second elevator pitch on why he's a superstar, in your opinion, on the streaming side.
I mean, my opinion, he's a fantastic marketer and an amazing brander, and he's created. He shows you the power of marketing and a really strong brand. But not that he brings a larger to life character to the table, and that's essentially what we're looking for with streaming. Is we're looking for an interesting character or an interesting personality, and he has that with tons of charisma and with a perfect marketed content around the gate. Like we look at his thumbnails, that's his branding, that's his marketing, and his thumbnails are on point. I mean, his branding is so cohesive, so clean, and so well done. Let this be a lesson. I mean, yeah, are you as good as the doc right now? Are you going to have the same success as the doc? Maybe not, but what streamers can take away from this who aren't on his level is look at how effective a really strong brand can really be. And think about that for your own brand. How can your brand be made to be better? And that alone, look at the power that has all in of its own. It can do wonders for your streaming career. It can really get you as a personality out there more. So think critically about that. This is how effective really good marketing and really good branding can be on the internet.
Ross, social media, elevator pitch. What did he do right?
What did he do right? He did it. That's the first thing. And that's one of the things that just separates him from everybody else. He actually took the time to do social media. He actually takes the time to put in hard work. And like we've seen in the comments here, he puts a lot of work into the clips and stuff he and his team do that they post on social media. They're not just a random clip or a cut here post. No, they put a lot of work into their social media. And unfortunately, if you're going to succeed, there is no shortcut with social media. You either hire a team to do it or you do it yourself. And chances are, like we've talked about, if you're here listening to us, you probably don't have a team around you. If you do, more power to you. But if not, you're going to have to be doing the legwork yourself. You're going to have to be putting in a lot of hard work. And that's going to be a pattern that we see throughout the week as we cover these streamers and content creators, is they put in the work, no shortcuts, just do it. That's what he did.
I agree. And so if you guys want help creating successful brands, I've helped build a multi-million-dollar media business. I've helped multi-million-dollar stock traders, streamers with millions of subscribers, the whole nine, build their branding, build out their media empire, if you will. And I could help you guys with one-on-one coaching if you are interested in that. awaldigital.com, you can go right here. I'll post a link in chat. awaldigital.com, if you want to book me for one-on-one coaching, I can help you walk through your strategy and help you create a long-term plan for you to become more successful as a creator. Just scroll down my website toward the bottom and you can find that scheduling tool down there. You just pick your day, you pick your time, and then you just book me one-on-one, and I can make you a plan with your help. You telling me your goals, you telling me what you want to accomplish. With your help, we can create a short-term, mid-term, and long-term